So Dan, let's start off by talking about how long have you known Pat Summitt?
I met her I came here in October of 1988. Got hired by the Sentinel to cover the Lady Vols. And I remember I went over to her office. Her office at that time was in Stokely Athletic Center. It was where the Sports Information Office eventually was. I walk in there, and one of their assistant ADs, Drew Hancock, was in the lobby of the office. And I've known Drew. Went to the University of Missouri, and I knew Drew. She was in the SID at Missouri, so I knew her. And I'd been down to visit the year before, and so I saw her then. And I walk in. She says, "Hey, hey Dan, are you here visiting again? What are you doing here?" I said, "No, I'm not here visiting this time." She says, what are you doing here?" I said, "I'm here to cover your women's basketball team." And her face just looked like I'd hit her with an ironing board. And she immediately went in, rushed into Summitt's office and started just blathering like, "Oh, we've got this great guy coming in to cover us." And she's trying to fill her in on me. Summitt is just like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. So I walk in Summitt's office, and my first impression of her was like a lot of people's first impression of her. She's got this sort of bearing. This would happen intermittently throughout my decades of dealing with her. She'll fix a look on you when she's talking to you. When you're talking to her, she'll it's like she fixes that stare on you, and she doesn't mean anything by it. That's her way of kind of concentrating and focusing on you. But it can be real imposing, and she did that to a certain extent in that first meeting. But I would say within the first month or two, it all began to change for me. It started evolving toward how I will forever see her is this very human, very I don't want to say ordinary, but just somebody that you were very comfortable with. It didn't take me long to realize that she understood my job, the nuances of it, everything about it more than any coach I'd ever dealt with, and probably in truth any coach I ever dealt with. And I think I really early on cemented some respect, or laid the foundation for the respect that we had with each other. And it began with a simple question. I remember that first season was early, it was pre-season, but I got in there a little late. They had already started practice, and I remember asking her,